Glass station extended. The valley breathed in fog like smoke from an old fire, curling low and slow, as though reluctant to leave the bones of forgotten things. The station stood at the end of a rusted track, surrounded by reeds that whispered even when the air was still. Trees lined the ridge above, their silhouettes fixed like watchmen carved from dusk. Its walls looked like glass, yet the texture wasn't glass at all, something clearer, older, uncertain. It caught the light but didn't hold it. Benches, railings, even bolts shimmered with transparency, as if the place had been poured instead of built, shaped by memory rather than hand. The sign above the door had no words, only the faint memory of letters that once knew their purpose. They lingered like echoes in stone. You could almost read them if you stopped trying. Insects danced just above the fog line, moving in spirals that mimicked clockwork. Somewhere beneath the platform, water dripped in patient intervals, like time pacing itself. Mira arrived near dusk, her boots darkened with marsh soil, her camera cold against her palm. Officially, she was sent to document what remained. Unofficially, she had always gone where silence felt alive. Places that didn't just resist time but reshaped it. Locals said the station had been struck years ago, not by lightning, but by time itself. Schedules froze, clocks forgot how to count, and trains passed only in reflection. The platform moaned under her weight. Each step echoed a second late, as though the sound waited for permission. Her reflection appeared beside her on the glass wall, delayed by half a heartbeat. When she turned, it turned slower. The smell was strange, not mold or rust, but something cleaner, like breath on cold metal. She touched the door. It opened without sound, light bending wrong as it passed through her hand. Inside, the air was cool and heavy, as though steeped in memory. Dust hung like mist that refused to fall. The benches were polished, untouched by weather or age. No spiderwebs, no fallen leaves, nothing to suggest time had passed at all. A timetable hung crookedly on the wall, every line erased but one: arrival, ongoing. Above it, the station clock had melted its hands into a single dark knot. The walls pulsed faintly, as if the building had lungs. She moved deeper. Her footsteps left no prints, but something beneath the floor followed, an echo too close. It didn't mock her movements, it anticipated them. When she reached the ticket window, her breath fogged the pain, yet no reflection came back. Behind the glass, faint shapes shifted like fish in deep water. She turned away before they took form. Outside, the field hummed faintly, a vibration in the metal rails. The sound wasn't mechanical. It felt like a memory rehearsing itself. Mira raised her camera and framed the tracks stretching into the fog. Through the lens, the rails curved inward, looping where the eye saw straight. She blinked and the loop vanished. By nightfall, the world flattened into two colors, black and the thin silver of her flashlight. The beam refused to travel far. It folded on itself, showing fragments of something between time and glass. Bits of schedules, half faces, a glove mid-wave. The wind died, and in its absence she heard a rhythm beneath the silence, distant wheels turning somewhere far below. Light flickered beyond the cattails. A pale stripe of brightness moved across the fog like a ghost train keeping its appointment. The ground trembled with a delicate hum, too gentle for fear. Then came the passengers. They gathered on the far platform, outlines of gestures, pauses, habits. An umbrella adjusted itself, a hat turned to listen. The glass remembered every traveler as motion, not body. When the invisible train reached the station, the building shimmered, polite in its trembling. For an instant the air filled with shapes, benches full, hands lifted, breath caught mid-sentence, and then cleared, leaving only quiet geometry behind. Mira wrote in her notebook, "The station repeats the living like an echo testing its patience." Later, she found a small fracture near the platform's edge, the only imperfection in all that flawless surface. Beneath it, a thread of light pulsed faintly, warm as skin. When she brushed it, the temperature shifted, the glass exhaled. For a heartbeat, she felt the air recognize her. The sensation was intimate and impossible, like being remembered by a place she'd never been. At midnight, the glow returned, thinner now. In its reflection, two versions of her stood side by side. One holding the camera, the other already leaving. Between them hung a stillness that felt alive. The fog thickened again, not around the station, but inside it. It crept along the walls, tracing edges like thought-forming words. She closed her notebook. The ink shimmered and refused to dry. Her last note was a single line. Memory moves like weather here. Morning arrived without dawn. The light came slowly, as if unsure of its welcome. Villagers crossed the ridge above, seeing only a rotted wooden building, ordinary and harmless. Yet from where she stood, the light bent wrong. Shadows refused to settle. On the bench, her notebook reflected upward, words ghosting onto the glass beneath her feet. Waiting is a material, not an act. She understood then. The station wasn't haunted. It was remembering itself, practicing stillness, preserving the rhythm of what once passed through. It didn't want witnesses. It wanted continuity. By noon the fog burned away, leaving heat that shimmered across the rails. She placed a small toy train on the platform, a quiet offering to whatever kept time here. The sunlight lingered too long before letting go. When she reached the road, the air folded once, softly. The station dimmed behind her, breathing slow and patient, as though conserving a memory it had finally learned to keep. That night, on her ride home, she glanced through the train window. Her reflection merged with the moving dark, fields, clouds, her own eyes fading into glass. For a brief instant she saw another platform glimmering far away, the faint pulse of a light that never fully died. She blinked and it was gone. But as the train carried her forward, the hum returned, steady, rhythmic, familiar. It was not an engine. It was a heartbeat stretched into distance, looping through the wires of the world. And somewhere, between signal and silence, the glass began to sing again.